Okay, final lesson of the year. Okay, yesterday I told you we're going to be talking about the differences between theoretical and experimental. Okay, today we're doing the experimental side of that. Okay, yesterday I told you, theoretical is what should happen in an experiment. Okay, so tossing a coin, you get a probability of 1/2. That's for theoretical. Experimental is what actually happens after the experiment. Experimental probability is what actually happens, based off your results. So my example here, a coin was tossed 100 times, heads appears 60 of the times. Therefore, the probability of getting heads based off the experiment would be 60 out of 100. Simplified down to 3/5, and that'd be your probability. Experimental is we're gonna use results. We're gonna use data we get from a chart or something. So just like yesterday, the problems are gonna be exactly the same as yesterday. We have a die, we're rolling it, 60 times now. I have the data in that chart. If I look at that chart, if I rolled a 1 12 times, I rolled a 2 9 times, rolled a 3 6 times, rolled a 4 13 times, rolled a 5 5 times, and rolled a 6 15 times. That's my data now, and that's what I'm going to use for my experimental. I have the theoretical part there from yesterday already filled in for you. That's what we did yesterday. Now we're going to compare that to our experimental we get today. So for number 1, it's saying what is the probability the next roll is an odd number. So once again, we want to get our total. We want the total from the chart, which we already know they give us in the problem here is we rolled it 60 times. So that would be our total, 60. Next is we have to find out how many times we rolled an odd number. So we just look at our odd numbers for this one is 1, 3, and 5. So that'll be 12 for the 1s, 6, and 5. I add all those totals together. 12 plus 6 plus 5, and I get 23 out of 60. And that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, except for now we're using the results of our experiment. Theoretical, we're just using the basic knowledge of a die, the 6 sides. Experimental, we're using our data we get from our experiment. So next one here. What is the probability that the next roll is a 1 or a 4? Once again, our total is just 60. Again, nothing changed. We still rolled 60 times. Now we want a 1 or a 4. So I have 12 ones here, and I have 13 4s there. Add them together. 12 plus 13, and you get 25. So 25 out of 60, but we can simplify that one. Divide both top and bottom by 5, and you get 5/12 as your answer for that one. Number 3. What is the probability that the next roll is at least 2? Just like I said yesterday, at least means it's going to be that number or higher. So I want 2 or higher. So I have 9 2s, 6 3s, 13 4s, 5 5s, and 15 6s. Okay, add them together. 9 plus 6 plus 13 plus 5 plus 15. And you get 48 out of 60. Okay? Simplify that. You could divide by 4. Okay, you get 12 on top. And you get 15 on the bottom. Okay, you can simplify again. Divide by 3, and you get 4 over 5. Okay, and that's your probability for rolling at least a 2. Like I said, for the experimental, we're just using our data from the chart. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, last problem. We're back to this, they're asking us how many rolls do we think we get out of 100. So once again, we got to get our probability, our fraction, just like what we did for the theoretical. Okay, we want the probability of getting a 3 based off of our experimental data there. Okay, so I look at my 3. I have 6 3s. So that means the probability of rolling a 3 will be 6 out of 60, which simplifies down to 1 over 10. Once I have my fraction, I go back to my problem here. It's saying that out of 100 rolls. So that's how many times they want me to roll now. So I do 100 times 1/10. Okay, and that will equal 10. So that means that 10 rolls of 3 will happen. Pretty simple things, okay? Like I said, just know that the difference between theoretical and experimental is going to use the data from the chart. Okay, experimental will always give you data to use. Theoretical is just your common knowledge, okay? Theoretical is just, a deck of cards or just one die. It doesn't have to worry about you doing it multiple times. Experimental, you have to worry about the results of an experiment. Okay? Now, last 2 questions here. Okay, like I said in the beginning of this, we want to know the difference between theoretical and experimental. Okay, compare them. So number 5 just straight up says, do the theoretical results match the experimental? And you just look at the fractions there, and you could tell they, do not match. Okay? In this case here, theoretical is higher. I'm going to abbreviate. Okay, theoretical is higher. Okay, and then number 6 is asking, how could the experimental results get closer to the theoretical results? Okay, and you could do this just by rolling more. Okay, the more you do an experiment, the more accurate it gets towards your theoretical. Okay, so instead of doing 60 rolls, we should have done 200 rolls, and then we would have got closer to our theoretical. Now, a lot of times, your experimental side is not going to be the same as your theoretical side because the world's not perfect. So your experiments are not going to always be the exact same as your theoretical results. Okay? And that's just basically it, okay? Experimental, you're using the results. Theoretical, you're not. Okay, this is the last lesson of the year. So, have a good summer, and I'll miss you guys. I'll see you next year.